Randytbird out here in Arizona on a beautiful July morning. I'm out here riding up by Mortimer Farms up here. You can feel the coolness in the air from the irrigated and watered fields there. And so if you're going to take a little trip up over the mountain here on Highway 169, it's a connector road between 69 and I-17. So yeah, see, avoid the traffic early in the morning here. So 15 miles to the interstate, and it's got some beautiful farm country here. I've recorded up here before, but at a different time of the season, you know, and everything's still real green up here because of the rains we had last week, and it hasn't been as hot up here as it has been, but you know, it is summer. It's just gorgeous up here. It is just as green as Ireland, it looks like. I've had the opportunity here recently to reread a book that I've had here. It's called Leanings 2, and it's written by Phil Egan. He was a column writer for Cycle World for many years, and when the magazine was still on paper, and God, I miss magazines. But it was the first thing I always turned to every month when I got the magazine. Was Phil Egan's column, and the man has a way with words. He's a true wordsmith, and his writing just made you feel like you were there with him, you know, the way he describes things. And I've always been impressed by good writers, you know, and I don't read a lot of books like I used to, but I have in the past, and you know, I'm thinking about doing it again. I mean, yeah, you can get just about anything you want on the internet, but just having an actual book or a magazine in your hand feels pretty good. You know, I used to devour the magazines from cover to cover, including the publisher's statement and the advertiser's index. You know, I used to just have boxes and boxes of magazines. Through a couple moves, I got tired of hauling them around. I kept a few, but you know, there's just an amazing stuff, and just again, Phil Egan's writing, it just makes you feel like you were there, and he's into all kinds of motorcycles and dirt riding. He had an article about riding in Baja, which is something I've always wanted to do, which will probably never happen because I'm getting too old for that kind of stuff. But you know, I just kind of living vicariously through his writing, and he's got to be well into his 80s now, and I hope he's doing well. You know, Cycle World magazine doesn't exist except online, which is just basically a bunch of road tests and advertising now, and you know, it's a shame what the magazine world has come to. I used to look so forward to getting on everything from the old Easy Riders magazine before they were, you know, became just another yuppie publication, and Cycle and Cycle World, Motorcyclist. God, I even wrote Dirt Rider magazine. I used to read that all the time. Motocross Action and Cycle News, and you know, anything I could get my hands on, you know, just I would read. And then for a while, I lived up in Colorado. There was a newsstand, and they had all the English motorcycle magazines, or the international ones, German ones, the English ones. I didn't do too much with the German ones, not speaking German and not reading German. They were just kind of a picture book to me with hieroglyphics, you know, as far as the writing. But on the English ones, you know, if you get to learn the English slang, and it seems a lot like what we speak over here in the States. So there was Bike and MCN News and stuff. I used to pick up all of those at the newsstand, and when I lived in Colorado, it was, you know, in the wintertime, you know, I would brave the snowstorm to go to the magazine, go to the newsstand, and pick up 2 or 3 magazines, and you know, turn the heat up, and there's the guy out on a sport bike. You just read about everything and look at different takes of things back in the world, and so I really miss that. And yeah, the internet will take you there. but it's not the same. It's not the same. Everything is information at your fingers, and it has made us all really jaded. We got to know about things 10 seconds after they happen. You know, it's just another thing is like that was newspapers. Newspapers, I used to get every day. I used to get the USA Today newspaper and immediately go to the sports section and read the baseball sheet, and so read all the descriptions, read the line scores and the box scores and the stats and everything, and that kind of faded out out of the way too. I could just dial up MLB.com and do that, but it just was so great to it was so great to be able to just go on my lunch hour, have something to eat, and spend the rest of the lunch hour just perusing the baseball news. I'm still a big baseball fan, although the Arizona Diamondbacks have been hard to watch lately. I mean, they just don't seem to be able to execute at all. I just, you know, they'll have some heroics one night, hit several home runs and make some amazing plays in the field, and then they get smoked the next day 1-0, you know. And then yesterday playing the Angels, they got beat 10-5, and Mike Trout hit a couple of home runs, and it just, their pitching is just abysmal. They've had some injuries, but it's really not an excuse. Their pitching has sucked lately, and they don't seem to get a key hit. When you leave 15 men on base, you know, and you lose 1-0, I mean, what the hell's going on, you know? So somebody's going to lose their job there. But I digress. But anyway, the original thing was about magazines, newspapers, and books. So I'm hoping that these things persist and the magazines come back someday, somehow. You know, it just, yeah, don't get me wrong, I do like the internet. I like being able to access all that information. When I was a kid and growing up and stuff, I used to read encyclopedias. I'd pick the A to C version and just read everything I could to try and know, which is why I'm somewhat annoying, know-it-all at times, you know. And I remember this, I read this, and say, oh, you know, I remember that. It was big, you know, into history and things of that nature. So I always grew up reading, and thankfully my son did the same thing. He was reading by 3, you know, just baby books, but still. And now he's quite the reader, quite educated, and I'm proud of him. But, you know, I'm what you would call semi-educated. I have a couple, 3 years of college. You know, never got a degree. Mostly learned at work and in the trenches and by reading. You know, I read a quotation, and I don't know who to attribute it to, but it said, you don't need to go to 4 years of college. He says you can learn in a year everything you need to know in Google. Well, I imagine there's some truth to that, but not a ton of truth, because, you know, anybody can put any garbage they want out on the internet and people take it as gospel, and it's not, obviously. But I don't know, I just this idea just popped in my head as I was driving down this beautiful scenic road, and just wanted to talk. So hope you're all doing well, and you're enjoying your summer, and you're getting out on your bikes or your classic cars or whatever it is you do, whatever brings you to my channel. I hope you're doing it and enjoying it. So me, I'm out on the Heritage today, just enjoying the countryside. It's nice and cool right now because I'm up in a little higher elevation, and this is this little connector road again between Highway 69, State Highway 69, and Interstate 17. Now, I try to stay off 17 as much as I can. There's a lot of traffic, a lot of trucks, and the speeds are, it's weird up there. Some people just fly and other people trundle along, so it's kind of a weird, you know, really pay attention, you know, and the road's bumpy, and the trucks really tear up the road, and But they've embarked on a 12-year project to redo 17 all the way from Phoenix all the way to Flagstaff. That's beginning to end up there. That's the terminus in Flagstaff. And the winter up there, they get a pretty extreme winters and lots of snow and ice, and that tears up the roads. But they just finished the stretch up the mountain from Black Canyon City to Sunset Point Rest Area, which is about a 10-mile stretch where they put in what they call a flex lane. And flex lane is a lane that they can open and close and run different directions, because the traffic on 17 has been abysmal, especially on holiday weekends or Sunday afternoons. The flex lane is 2 lanes, additional lanes going south, and on the start of the weekend, it's north. And I got to experience it yesterday, not yesterday, but Friday, as I made a trip to Phoenix to visit some friends, and the traffic is just decreased dramatically, and the road surface is all brand new. And one thing I liked is they have lots of reflectors on the lanes and markers and everything, which helps my night blindness to see. It's lit up like your headlights lighted up like a airport runway, so that's pretty cool. And to say something good about 17 is a long time coming, because it's been a mess for a long time. There's still, if there's an accident or a brush fire or something, it can really back things up. But they've made a big improvement, and they're going to working on the northern stretch of it here later on in the next. It's about halfway into the project, the 12-year project. One of my customers at Legends Harley was one of the civil engineers on that project, so he filled me in on what was going on. So, but that was cool. That guy bought a CVO Road Glide ST, and that was pretty cool. Shout out to my brother Al, who got his first two-wheeler in many years. He'd been riding trikes. He had some health issues, but he got himself a nice 2020 Sport Glide, and it's fixed up pretty nice. Got a 2-in-1 on it, and free flow air cleaner, and risers and bars, and a lot of the expensive stuff already done, so you'll save some money on that. So again, good on you, brother. It's good to see you on the two-wheeler again. I know the trike for you has been a bit of an adventure, you know. So, but ride safe, get your sea legs back, and then anyway. That's kind of up to date in Randytbird world. Again, I mentioned maybe on another video, but I have been trying to get back with the Harley shop, and that has finally come to fruition. I start again on Tuesday, and I'm going to be doing both parts and service writer job there here eventually, and you know, mostly parts for now. So anyway, so I'll be back in the Harley Davidson world where I belong. And wow, this 15 miles has gone by really fast. I'm a half mile from the junction. Anyway, this is Randytbird out here in Arizona. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share my videos. Feel free to comment. I love reading your comments. And anyway, you take it easy, and I'll talk to you again.